let's move on to the South Division. The South Division is an interesting division. You've got you've got the Jaguars in that division. You've got the Titans in that division. You've got the Colts in that division, and of course, you have the Texans in that division. I think the Texans are basically a train wreck right now. Their quarterback is probably going to be somewhere else. He's got a lawsuit against him, Deshaun Watson. I don't know that he's going to be there to play much this year. So who knows who they're going to have at quarterback. They've traded away lots of guys. Some have left in free agency. So I don't think they're much of a threat.
The thing with the Texans too, last year, the one thing that was keeping them in games was Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
So if they have another quarterback that they're scrambling to try to find here, it's really not going to go well, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Colts are an interesting team. The Colts were a pretty good team last year. They did make the playoffs. If I remember correctly, they had, of course, they had Phillip Rivers as their quarterback. He retired. Right. They traded for Carson Wentz. He was hurt, but now he's back at practice. Looks like he's going to start the season as their quarterback. They have a good running back in Jonathan Taylor. They have some good wide receivers. They have a solid defense. I think it was one of the higher rated defenses last year. So I think they're going to be a real challenge in that division. Obviously, the Jaguars are not going to do much with a rookie quarterback and a new coach. They may win 3 or 4 games.
Speaking of the Jaguars, you see that Etienne guy got hurt? He's out for like 12 weeks.
That's right. Travis Etienne, the guy they drafted from Clemson, is hurt. In fact, he may be out for the season, they said.
Maybe that's what
because he's got a Liz Frank injury in his foot. He's got to have surgery.
Liz Frank.
Yeah, it's a weird – I don't know why they named it that. I think they named it after the guy who founded it. But it's a bone problem in his leg. Broke a bone in his foot.
Yeah,
his foot, yeah. And as I was telling Joseph before we came on the air, you probably didn't hear this. They just traded Gardner Minshew to the Eagles for a conditional 6th-round pick. So they're going with a rookie quarterback. And anytime you do that, he may be a great quarterback in the future. But even Peyton Manning was 3-13 his first year as a starter. So they're done. They're not in the conversation. So let's talk Colts Titans. I mean, those are the 2 teams that I think are going to be fighting it out for the division. Joseph?
Yeah, well, I think I agree with that recap of the division. So it does come down to the Colts and Titans, I think. And the Colts have more question marks than the Titans, starting with Wentz. I mean, we don't really know what Wentz you're going to get at this point, right? Is the one that looked really good early in Philadelphia, or the one that basically got him benched for Jalen Hurts and traded?
Right.
I thought and still think that Phillip Rivers is a good quarterback. I'd like to see him come back and give him another try there. So I actually think that they take a step back in the quarterback position, even though Rivers is older. I think he's just a little better than Wentz right now, unless Wentz can prove me wrong. But you take that into consideration, you got T.Y. Hilton, who's a year older, didn't do much last year. He's not the same guy he was in Luck. Like you said, Jonathan Taylor came on strong. That's probably the bright spot in the offense anyway. But the Titans are just the same team that were last year, plus they added Julio Jones, right? So I give the edge to the Titans there. It'll be interesting to see if Derrick Henry can keep up his dominant form. 2 years ago, 1,500 yards. Last year, 2,000. Probably not going to give him 2,000 again, I would think. But you never know. You never know. So
well, he's got an extra game. He's got an extra game this year.
That's a great point. I didn't even think of that. Tannehill proved himself to be like a serviceable starter, like they can have success. So I like the Titans in that division. I think that Julio Jones had a pretty good year for them to add to the offense a little bit. And I think that the Titans in the South.
I think this is like the Bills-Dolphins thing. I think the Titans, it's pretty much their division, I think, unless they slip up and lose.
Right.
But I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts won the division. The Colts and the Dolphins both, they're kind of like a little bit of a wild card to me. Like, they're kind of they could go either way. Kind of. They could outperform what you think, or they could just kind of be, underperform what they're expected to do. Right. But I think it's most likely that the Colts, just like the Dolphins, are going to be vying for a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the division, the Colts. But the only thing about Wentz, I agree they're taking a step back if you just look at Rivers and Wentz. But Wentz now is back with that offensive coordinator, right? Correct. Or is he the head coach of the Colts now?
He's the head coach of the Colts.
He was offensive coordinator with the Eagles.
Yes, he was. Yes.
And that was the year that he was doing that. He really was playing
won the
well.
Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl. Right. So there has to be something there. Of course, Wentz is, he's had a couple injuries since then, everything. But I think that's kind of what makes me think. I wouldn't be shocked if they really were kind of clicking on all cylinders on offense, and really, like you said, the defense is already solid.
That's the key right there. The Colts have the better defense than the Titans, but but we'll see. I mean, I think the Titans. I think right now, like Joseph said, you have to say the Titans are the favorite, but don't be. I think the Colts are closer to the Titans than the Dolphins are to the Bills. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think the Colts. I don't want to say it's a lock, but I mean, I'd have to think they get one of the wild cards.
I would tend to agree with that. Yeah.